The October 22nd, 2012 meeting of the Public Safety Committee will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Boyce. Here. Chairman Hanna.
Here.
Mr. Willie Lightfoot is excused. Mr. John Lightfoot. Here. Mr. Michike. Here. Mr. O'Brien. Here. Dr. Quattro. Here. Mr. Rocco. Here. Mr. Yolovich. Here.
Is there anyone signed up for public forum this evening?
There's one public forum speaker. Would Mr. Tom Gregory please come forward?
I'm addressing each of the committees during these cycles here on the topic of hydrofracking in the context of what your committees are looking at. I have the Public Safety Committee actually is something that's very close to me because, as this legislature is well aware, at least it should be well aware, I think I've told you enough times, I have a criminal conviction. I have a criminal conviction such that I can't even volunteer at the Public Defender's Office. I was asked to leave by that office. When I look at what the public safety issues are in this county, and I realize that there are other convicted felons like myself who basically are precluded from the types of jobs that, actually I'm a Cornell graduate, School of Industrial Labor Relations. I've also attended 2 cycles through MCC. I'm a pretty qualified man. I can't get a job, but I'm not speaking for myself. I'm 65, I got Social Security, and I got a little bit of a pension payment. But there's a lot of people out there who've done the wrong thing. I mean, that's the fact of it. They've done the wrong thing. And you wake up late and you realize that you wish you had done the right thing. The bottom line is this committee looks at those issues all the time, and basically what you're offering all the time is care or adjudication or alternatives and things like this here, when, tell you what, I'd like to speak for myself, and by speaking for myself, I'll be speaking for others. In my opinion, there's a lot of good people out there who made a mistake that they regret and would like to move on and do something right for a change. But those opportunities are precluded if the only alternative this county can offer them is care, social worker, and programs. But when you look at hydrofracking as an industry coming into this area, it ain't the cleanest job. I work for Dolomite Quarries, but I'll tell you what, I made $10 an hour driving a big machine. And when you look at the number of trucks, that 647 trucks per well, trips, for each well, that's a driver behind that truck. And that's a mechanic maintaining that truck. And that's a gas station attendant filling that truck. And we go on, and we see opportunities for people like myself who screwed up, quite frankly, who want to have a job and take care of themselves rather than take care. So I think when you talk about what you're doing from your point of view as a public safety committee, you also have to look at the collateral consequences positive by bringing an industry like hydrofracking into this area for people like myself who frankly would like to have a job. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gregory. Was there anyone present who is not signed up to speak that would like to address the committee this evening? Seeing none. Next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. You have the August 20th, 2012 minutes before you. They'll stand approved unless the clerk is notified of any changes by the end of the day. Next item is new business. Madam Clerk.
Referral 12-279, establishing.
Moved by Legislator Michike, seconded by Legislator Quattro. As the maker of the motion, I now recognize Legislator Adair to.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate being recognized by this committee. I'd like to tell a little bit about the Yellow Dot program to everyone. I know that you've seen the referral; it's been in the packet, but I would like to say a couple of the things about that are important to me and why I wanted to sponsor this. Was I saw a while back the Yellow Dot program was put out by the New York State Sheriff's Association, and with curiosity I talked to the Sheriff's Department and with the county clerk about if this was something that we could implement in Monroe County. Well, as I went around making presentations and talking to different people about what we could do, I found out that there was a lot of support for this. In fact, up to including County Executive Brooks, who is my co-sponsor, and I'd like to thank her for that. I'd like to thank Cheryl D'Onofrio and Patrick O'Flynn for what they did for getting me the information, and both of their staffs for what they did. to get this where we are today with it. And it's before you. The Yellow Dot program, if you don't know what it is and you had a chance to really look at it, it's simply that. It's a yellow dot that goes on the back of a vehicle. And what it does is when a first responder comes on the scene of an accident, the first responder sees the yellow dot and realizes that the information on that person's or persons in that car is in the glove compartment, and that they can go there, get that information out, and save time. So why save time? Well, save time is because it's said that the quicker that you respond to an emergency or an accident or someone injured or gravely injured, that you have a better chance of survival and a better chance of full recovery. So I really liked that part of the program. I also like that the program really, from the New York State Sheriff's Association when it came out, is one that they gave us a lot of support for. In fact, as far as the brochures and the yellow dots, they provided all that. They'll provide all that for us. So I'm really pleased to be able to co-sponsor this. And if you haven't had a chance to just take a look at some of the stuff that's in, the information would be a person's, any kind of medical, blood type, allergies, contact information. Make no mistake about this. This is a completely volunteer program. It's not something that you're going to be required to do. Actually, in fact, I think the Yellow Dot program can actually be used at home too. It can be put on a window in the front door or on a side door, and it would indicate that there was information sometimes in the icebox. I believe where it is in the icebox that to first responders that they would be able to use so that they could help the person out. It's just I think this is just a great opportunity for us as legislature, as the county executive and the administration, for the public safety of our community to do something that's good and something that will help the community overall as well. One last thing I'd like to say is the program really is probably geared more towards senior citizens, but it's not only senior citizens, but it is geared towards a senior citizen group. And I'll take any questions on the referral at this time if anybody has any.
Thank you, President Adair.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion? Legislator Lightfoot.
Mr. Chairman, the second to last paragraph of the legislation tells us that we anticipate the cost of implementing this program would be minimum to the fact that program materials will be obtained from New York State Sheriff's Association. Through you, Mr. Chairman, to the administration or the budget department, can you define minimum for us in a sense? The discriminant number, is that 1,000? Is that 5,000?
Through the chair, Scott Adair, Director of Finance, we anticipate from a budgetary perspective that would be anything less than $5,000.
So through you, Mr. Chairman, we define minimum as a $5,000 number or less.
Through the chair, for this particular referral, that is what we defined it as, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in Legislator Yellovich.
I was just sitting here, Mr. Chairman, through you, as a point of information to the younger people in the room, an ice box is really a refrigerator.
Mr. President, an ice box is a refrigerator.
No, it wasn't what I was talking about. It's an ice box.
Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 12-285, acceptance.
Moved by Legislator Boyce, seconded by Legislator Michike. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in Legislator Boyce.
Mr. Burns, can you tell me how many youth will be served?
Bob Burns, Office of Probation. Through the chair, the contract requires between 20 and 30, or it might be 20 and 40, but I believe it's 20 and 30 children per year.
Okay. And through the chair, can you tell me in the past, from your past statistics, can you tell me how many successful youth have gone through the program and the success rates of those young people?
Through the chair, the most recent year that we have stats on, 39 juvenile delinquents and PINS children were entered into the program. We're gauged, our success gauge is improvements in school attendance, not being placed in a juvenile facility at great cost to the county and the state, and not being rearrested. We did very well on the truancy side. 39% of those kids improved their attendance at school. Only one was placed, so that's a 99% success rate on placements. 10 were arrested for new crimes. That's not a number we were pleased with. We expected something a little less than that, but 10 of those 39 were arrested by some police agency for some crime.
Okay. And through the chair, could you tell me that Kumba, the list of activities that they do with the young people?
Excuse me. Through the chair, they have, Kumba is a local facility that's been here probably 20 years on East Main Street. For our kids, they expand what their normal program is, which is arts. They expand to technology, and so they have workshops where they bring in people who are in the media business, into videography, into photography, into website development, and things of that nature. That's 12 sessions, an hour per session, and it's all lecture and hands-on kinds of experience at their site on Main Street.
Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Legislator Lightfoot.
Chairman, thank you. There was a decrease of $9,815 through you, Mr. Chairman, to the administration. Is that correct? Or what was the cause of the decrease?
Through the chair, that's correct. We have no control over the grant award that comes from state DCJS. I believe that's federal money that they received, and when that money is reduced, they pass that reduction on to us.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chairman. To you, Mr. Chairman, to my colleagues, obviously, well, I believe that we believe that this program helps at-risk youth, and we know that the reoffending of juvenile continues. It is the duty of the Monroe County to administer the services and programs from New York State. This is the purpose of the grant. So I'm just looking eventually for Monroe County, for our legislative body to particularly take an interest in filling the gap that was created by the budget decrease. And I was even prepared to make a motion today, but I will not. I just want to put that to my colleagues, that I will be looking for us to see if we can fill this gap.
Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, item carries. Next item.
Referral 12-286.
Moved by Legislator Quattro, seconded by Legislator Yolovich. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, item carries. Next item.
Referral 12-287.
Moved by Legislator Yolovich, seconded by Legislator Rockow. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, item carries. Next item.
Referral 12-288.
Moved by Legislator Boyce, seconded by Legislator Rockow. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, item carries. Next item.
Referral 12-289.
Moved by Legislator Rockow, seconded by Legislator Michike. Is there any discussion? Legislator O'Brien.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just through you to the administration, I see that this represents a fairly dramatic decrease in funding of over $343,000, although I see that the referral does say that the funds have been used to strengthen a wide array of capabilities And I'm hoping that that means that that doesn't necessarily mean that this has that decrease in funding has a particularly negative impact on operations. But I'm wondering through you, Mr. Chairman, if we could get a brief description of what the impact of the loss of allocation would mean for operations here, through you.
Through the chair, Fred Ryan, Monroe County Office of Emergency Management. There is a significant decrease since last year, and that's a decrease at the federal level that's been passed down to us. In terms of how this is going to impact operations, these funds go to support programs that have been built up over a number of years. So as we finish building these programs, future years we'll be looking to using these reduced dollars towards sustainment of those programs. So it will not have an impact on operations as we're completing projects now with these funds.
Excellent, thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 12-290, authorize.
Moved by Legislator Michike, seconded by Legislator Quattro. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 12-291, authorize.
Moved by Legislator Quattro, seconded by Legislator Yolovich. Is there any discussion? Legislator Lightfoot.
Mr. Chairman, through you to the administration, paragraph 3 states that the MCSO operates under the guidelines of the Civil Service System. Ms. Abrams is a professional consultant who assists the MCSO in preparing tests, evaluations, and assessments for employment. Through you, Mr. Chairman, to the administration, will you define preparing tests? What does preparing tests entail?
Through the chair, Jen Summers, counsel to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Pursuant to the New York State Civil Service laws and rules, the Sheriff's Office is required to give tests prior to promotion of, for instance, a deputy to sergeant, a sergeant to lieutenant, and we contract with the outside vendor to ensure that we are fair in our testing procedures, that the test is testing the traits that we want to see in the particular position that we're testing for.
So Dr. Abrams would be just proofreading the test questions, or would she be preparing the test questions?
Through the chair, she does help to develop the tests with our administration. She meets with generally the commander of our staff services and whichever bureau chief, whether it's police, the courts, or the jail, is looking at the promotion. They develop a fair test, and then she reviews the test as well as the testing, the actual responses to the test.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, to the administration, in regards to evaluations, does this mean, will Dr. Abrams be helping grade the test also, or?
She reviews the manner in which the test is graded. She does review that, but I don't believe that she actually grades the test, but I'm not sure about that. I don't. Thank you. Our lieutenant has just advised me that we have assessors who grade the tests.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll just end the questions there. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 12-292.
Moved by Legislator Yolovich, seconded by Legislator Rockow. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 12-293.
Moved by Legislator Rockow, seconded by Legislator Boyce. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 12-294, authorize.
Moved by Legislator Boyce, seconded by Legislator Michike. Is there any discussion on? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Item carries. Next item,
Referral 12-307.
moved by legislator Michkay, seconded by legislator Quattro. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Item carries. Next item is unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business to come before the committee this evening? There being no further business, the October 22nd, 2012 meeting of the Public Safety Committee now stands adjourned. The next meeting of the Public Safety Committee will be held on November 26th, 2012 at 6 p.m.